Hey everybody, it's Mike over here at Growtopia, and it is November 9th, 2024. And what do we have that we can plant in the month of November? Well, we talked about it before, but now we're actually going to do it. So first thing I want to do is take a look at what we have in the Bible and see if it's what I want to plant, if it's what I'm going to plant, and we'll go from there. If you guys are new to the channel, like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and check out one of my other videos about what the Bible is. The Bible, I call it the Bible. It's my book of many things. It keeps track of what you can plant and what months, different information. It's always good to have. It also has, I keep track and records of what I plant, when I transfer it, when I harvest it, and etc., etc., etc. So, let's get to the month of November. Now, of course, there's a lot of other things you can plant in the month of November, and I've been slowly kind of fixing that. But currently, at the state of it, I am just going to only go through a few of these. So I have carrots currently on here that you could start actually in November, but I have carrots already growing in one of my greenhouses. So I'm not going to probably put any more carrots out, and if I do put more carrots out, it would actually be out in Growtopia. Well, theoretically, the whole sense of all of this is Growtopia, so everything has its different terminology. So where we are right now, we're inside the nursery. We have the hothouse, the shade house, and then the whole fenced-in area is actually considered the orchard, is what its original terminology is. So let's get that all on part. So I do want to throw carrots in there because on the drawing plan of it, which is yet again another thing that's good to keep track of, is I have everything drawn out depending on what section it's in. So this is inside the orchard, and if I flip the book the right way, this is inside of the sun house, where everything is going to be, so on and so forth. So if you guys are new to the channel, definitely check out that video that talks about the Bible. Actually, I probably am going to do a full front to back, because I don't have that yet. I have different sections of the Bible that I started putting together. Okay. I only really need this when I'm going outside. It's a little too hot for this right now. And the nursery always gets like warm. This is like one of the warmest rooms in my house all the time. So it's like you can never get away from the heat in here. It's like it's always with me. Anyway, so let's go to the month of November instead of wasting time here. Actually, but I did want to look at planting locations. So a lot of stuff I have in here is for the summer. I don't really have too much fall things written in here. And carrots is something I would put in different spots. So I do have to do a couple beds that I want to try to attack today, I'm thinking, hopefully. I got to go out there and survey what has to be done, because then I can stick the carrots outside, which is great. So we're gonna hold off on the carrots until then. Next is garlic, onions, green onions, scallions, peas. They need a trellis. They would go inside the shade house. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Move pods to greenhouse, shade house, then garden. Started doors, move to greenhouse, then orchard, February, March, and April. So, starting doors, right? So we got broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. So, now, if you're also, yet again, another one, if you're new to the channel, I have books of seeds. Just like the tomatoes, I'm constantly collecting seeds of certain things that I like, that grow well. And then basically what happens is I have these little seed bags, or I use the original bags, and then I collect the seeds. Like here's an example of, this was, well, it's actually called squirrel corn. Corn from feed corn that I fed to my squirrels that are outside. And no, DEC, you're not allowed on my property. If you try to enter my property, you will be shot on scene. I have I have the non-trespassing rights of my property. Keep those assholes off. So those were corn cobs that so I gave the squirrels feed corn. They buried the corn and turned into corn plants. Their corn grew better than mine. Like this here is all different melons and shit that are in here. It's a melon book. I was looking for something before. Strawberries, I got watermelons. My problem is funny, I got crimson and clover in here. I wanted to take that out. Crimson and clover, I tried planting a ton of it out in the orchard, and for some reason it seemed like it never took off, and then I gave up on it, and then it looked like it came back. But that was like, that's like all the melons, like the watermelon, the melons, nothing really spectacular in there. This is more of like the herbs. These are all like the herby shit, herb book. It's like the basils, the arnerus, basil, borage. So borage is like a good thing for tomatoes. I'm actually taking it out of here because I want to put certain things in the tomato book. We got the cilantros, the cumin, chives, cilantro, celery. I said onions before, right? Yeah. There's cat grasses and stuff. There's dill, calamine, Frenchia, more dill. There's lavenders, hibiscus, hydrangeas. There we go, marigolds. That's what I'm looking for. And some of this other stuff didn't take off in the beginning when I first planted it, but then I started realizing that it wasn't really just the seeds, it was also myself. Now it's kind of funny how it's a mix of herbs, but then I got like sunflowers in here, rosemary's in here as well. Sunflowers could be theoretically an herb. There's savory, there's thyme. Just making sure I got all the miscellaneous stuff I wanted to get out of there. Alright. Okay, now we got the book of a lot of many things. Whew. Okay, so we're going to do a lot of brassicas. So brassicas are the broccoli, the cauliflower, the cabbage, you know, any of the type of the greeny stuff. So I'm just going to pull them out of the book and then I'm going to stick them back in later. Let's see, we got, what do we got on there? We got broccoli. I'm not taking them all out of the book, but taking it's full of seeds. I'm gonna have to buy more Brussels sprout seeds. Just cauliflower snowball. Got our carrots. I'm not going to do anything with that right this second with our carrots. We got our cabbages. Let's see, maturity level. I'm guessing you kind of want to go for something that's a little longer. So I'm going to do a red cabbage. And I got a Copenhagen Market Early. What's that, 65 days? Oh, I got the green one. I have the green one next to the green one. That's that there. Then we got green acre. Yeah, we'll do the green acre cabbage. Let's see if we got onions in here. Onions, kale, lettuces. Yes, here we go. We got onions. Okie dokie. We got like red burgundy onions. Grab that. Grab some white Spanish onions. That's white sweet Spanish Utah. I was just looking at something funky over here. Guess I put one of the bags in the wrong spot. I got some onions still left over. One of the other kind of onions. What else do we got for the month of November? Of course I passed them already. We got beets, parsnips, radishes. So let's keep going. We got parsnip here. One of the things I do as well, when it comes to like my seeds, is that when basically I run out of seeds, I'll buy like another bag or two of seeds. So I have I harvested radishes the other weekend. Radishes and turnips, and I tried eating them raw, and that was a horrible mess. So then I cooked them, and they came out delicious. So I'd say cook your shit instead. Comes the radishes and beets. I'm going to do champion radishes. This summer I did the French breakfast. I want to try something different. And then they got German giant radishes, so I'm going to try those. Parsnip, we only had one type of radishes. I got those. Beets are in the front. Overflowing. Beat me up, Scotty. We got bull's blood, and we got red Detroit. Do bull's blood. We'll do a full bucket of that. That is that. Alright. Let's take the book and put the book to the side. I do want to grab. This is our tomato book. I just got a bunch of tomato seeds that I want to put in here as well. But what I do want to do is I want to take some of these stuff, like my bodyguard plants. I just want to stick them in this book. Borage is going in there. Marigolds are going in here. I'm just going to throw crimson and clover in here for now. Sow in late summer to early fall. So I'd sow this basically around now. Shit, I'm just going to plant them now. Put them in pods and then just stick them out there. So wasting this space in the book. Get rid of all those. Alright, so I know it's a lot of stuff we just kind of went through. Didn't really do much. So now it comes down to, now we know what we have, but then it's also where you're going to put it, how much you need. This is a time where you really want to make sure you have the planting space to do so. So not only do you want to make sure you have outside planting room, but also where you can store it indoors. As you can see, I have this going on, which is taking up 2 shelves here. This I'm going to be getting rid of. And then I got these guys that were the overwintered guys, that a lot of them are actually going to go from here and actually outside into the greenhouse, because they're like broccoli and cabbage and kale that's in here. So that allows me, that gives me only 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 shelves. Now, these shelves back here that are being used for storage, I could actually take all the stuff that's running on these shelves and actually slip it over here. The only downside is I'm running an older lighting system on it, where I would have to turn the lights on manually, which isn't a big deal. I do like how they come on automatic, because when I leave for work and when I come home from work, I'm not around to turn the lights on and shut them off. So I like the automated system on it. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is, once this shelf comes out of here and goes back to where it belongs, I'm going to take off the manual grow lights and put on the automatics, so that I could use this shelf a little bit more than just storage right now at the moment. So anyway, so with this being said, I got my beans growing up and through here, right? And I got pumpkins and tomatoes down there. And then up here I got Scotch bonnet peppers I'm playing with, and then I'm getting rid of this. And I got basil, and I got a basil that has one leaf that's probably done. So I'm gonna be cleaning up a lot of stuff. And then I got celery here that's growing from cut celery. A little bit of cleaning, leftover tomatoes, jalapenos, etc., etc. So, with that being said, I know that I have the room on where I want to put stuff. Now, also, all the information that you really need is from the back of the seed packets for planting depth. So that's really simple. Where are we here? I got my tags that I'm going to be using. All I need now is my pods and a few other things. So basically, what I'm going to do, this takes a long time, is I got to write down is my growing information. What type of plant it is, how many pods that I did, the temperature that they like to grow at. So then that temperature I get is actually from the front of the book when I go into looking for that plant. So let's say, like, let's take onions, 65 and 75 mat temperature on the heating mat, 60 to 75, and plant shallow for onions and chives. Let's see. Cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts. 45 degrees to 85 degrees. 4 to 8 days to germinate. Plant shallow. One sprout. Move to a spot with light and temps around 60 degrees, which can be in the greenhouse or in the grow room on a mat set at a temperature of 60 degrees. So that tells me right there, for the cauliflower, the cabbage, and the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts, that they get basically put into seed pods, and they sit in a tray with no lights and no temperatures until they sprout. Then they get set up on a heat mat. So basically what I could do, right, is I can have a dedicated shelf for them where they sit there with nothing on it. Then once they need it, all the lights come on. So they're probably going to get almost like a full tray of just for themselves. But they're going to be on a dedicated shelf. So then that means then at that state, if I'm going to put them on a dedicated shelf, I could actually run, I could run 2 trays of 15, so I could run 30 plants on one shelf. So my trays, for anybody who also, yet again another comment that doesn't know, let's see. Oh, so these are the trays that I use. Okay, they're 15 cell trays. They have a dome cap that goes on them that's very nice. It's got vents that you can open and close. The inner lining comes out so you can clean everything. I use pods, which are, I'll grab one. So these are seed pods that didn't take off from another batch of plants that I did. So I reuse the pods. But a lot of these pods have been reused over and over again, and I think they got a little too contaminated with fertilizer or nutrients or something went funky. So probably all these pods are just going to end up in the compost pile. Just get rid of them and start fresh. Pods I'm talking about are these. They're like little discs, little biscuits, whatever you want to call them. You put them in water and they expand. You rip the top open, you put the seeds in them, and that's it. And they sit nice in there. And I have little tiny planters that are also a nice shape that sit perfectly in there as well. And that's what a lot of those transplants are. So there's a lot of stuff that I bought that all interworks with one another. And it took a lot of time of actually finding stuff and making sure they had the measurements so that I could put everything together. I know, a bunch of useless information. But that means that with all the brassicas, I could stick them all in 2 trays. And right there, so it means that's a lot of plants I can plant, which is good. Because that gives me a better yield harvest, and we like this stuff and we mix it in with our food. So even though I basically started more on the carnivore diet and I kind of transitioned a little bit back to carbs with all these vegetables, I'm getting a shit ton of vitamins from all the stuff I grow. So I don't need to get toxic vitamins from the fucking pharmacy and shit. So something's dripping. There's nothing over here to drip. What? What the hell's going on over here? It's like something's like dripping or creaking. Anyway. Fucking a lot of weird noises in here. So that's basically the trays of where I'm going to put the stuff. For the beets, I've been actually kind of contemplating on how I'm going to do them. So I got these grow bags, which are down here somewhere. Oh, there we go. So I got these grow bags I bought a while ago, and I bought them for potatoes. And I used 2 bags for the potatoes. And that was about it. And then I bought another 2 bags because I had discovered that beets, when they grow, just like carrots, each plant has 1 beet. So you don't, you might have a beet plant. It's not going to have, it's not like a peanut plant where it's going to have, multiple produce, multiple fruits below. So I'm like, I'm like, well, I'd rather put the beets in a bag that's filled with soil, and I can grow a shit ton of beets at one time. There's a shit ton of plants. And you can eat the beet leaves too, in case you guys are wondering. So if you cut a beet in half, right, you have half of it for your own meal, and you cut the top off, you can actually grow the top. The problem is that it won't grow a beet below, but it will grow the leaves of the top of that beet. And you can harvest those leaves, and you can put them in salads, or soups. You can put them in burgers. You can eat them as they are. They're good. I know it sounds weird, but I just usually pick them off and eat them right then and there. No, that's the truth. Alrighty. So, this is the bag. It's a cloth bag. It's pretty decent size. It takes probably about a bag or 2 of soil, roughly. Soil, compost, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to put compost, manure, because beets like to grow in like poopy soil. So I'm going to put manure and soil and compost, mix it all together, and then dump it in here. And I'm either, see, I don't want to grow it inside the house because it'll come out the bottom. So I'm probably going to pack these, fill these up, and then I'm going to stick them out in the one of the greenhouses. That'll be where my beets are going to go. And then I'll probably use a whole packet of bull's blood for that. I gotta deal with these glasses here, they're rattling. Perfect to put in your garden, long lasting vibrant colors, or leaves are deep. Above 70 degrees. But although, this is where I go back and look at shit. It's for the beets. It shows plant and garden tomato street, cover in mulch. So these ones, it looks like I'm not doing the bags on these guys. These ones are getting sowed in the garden right off the bat, and then they're being moved over to, no, I'm sorry, these ones are being planted in the garden themselves. So the beets, the parsnips, and the radishes are going in the garden themselves. They're going right out into the orchard, right into the beds, and then covered in mulch. Although the radish, plant and garden, tomato street, which is the name of the section, cover in mulch, and then sun house as well. So the radishes are going in the sun house as well. Let's see, for the onions, was there anything specific on onions? So, direct sow in same box. So the onions are going in the hothouse. See, ever since I've changed things up, where before everything started indoors as a pod, and then it went outdoors, or went to trays and stuff, I've revamped stuff so that there's a lot less of starting indoors and there's a lot less waste. So like, for an example, I tried reusing these pods over and over again, and this is a lot of waste. And same thing with tags. Because a lot of these tags, I wrote on them full sun and the date. Now, the way that I'm going to be doing my tags from now on is that I got a bunch of new tags, and I'm actually been looking for something different than these stand-up tags, because I don't like where I got to write on them vertically. I like to just write horizontal on them and put what type. Like they are, like cabbage, put like golden acre, you know, red cabbage, purple cabbage, snowball, cauliflower, you know, put what type of species they are on instead of just putting just spinach. What kind of spinach is it? Even though it's logged in here on its location, I still prefer it to be a little bit different. So I'm not running around with the book in my hand. Stuff that I keep like playing around with. So peas, I'm going to skip for the time being. It says direct sow peas, can eat pea shoots. It says shade house. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Why the hell not? Only thing you guys are going to enjoy is not watching the video of me planting everything and me writing it in the book. That's what I got to do, is I got to keep track of it all in the book. So these are Oregon snow pea pods. What's this one here? These are Sugar Daddy. Feels like there's only a few in there. Sugar Daddy. I creep myself out sometimes too. I got Lincoln pea pods. Hopefully these ones don't get shot in the head. Ah, that was a bad joke. I got some more Sugar Daddy. Sugar Daddy. What was this? Onion. Onion. Alright. Doesn't really look like a lot's going to be inside. Looks like it's only really the brassicas are going to be indoors. because they're literally listed as pods. Move to greenhouse shade, then to garden. So they're literally starting off indoors, going to the shade house, and then possibly going into the garden in the month of February, March, and April. Yep. Alright, so you guys are my potters, and everybody else is going out there. And then I gotta keep this log running. So anyway, guys, I'm not gonna bore you with all the rest of the unneeded boring details, but this is the log that I gotta keep track of, where everything is gonna go, the movement of stuff. I gotta sit there and write everything out. How many I planted, where I planted them, what zones they're in, what sections they are. So that takes a while, but that's how I keep track of everything. And if something is alive, stays alive, or dies, I keep track of it through that as well. Anyway, guys, this is Mike over here at Growtopia. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family. Get out there and grow something. If you have any questions below or different stuff that you like to try to plant in the month of November, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, guys, this is Mike over at Growtopia. Get out there and grow something. More videos on the way.